the only Steins
No
Gate
flipping
iceberg chart
way!
you'll ever need.
What the
I
flip?
compiled 46 pages worth of entries in the
Uh-huh.
Steins Gate rabbit hole
Yeah.
schizo level iceberg chart, ranging from normal to mental illness level love for the show. In this
What?
exploration, we're diving headfirst into the realm of completely pointless topics, subjects that won't miraculously solve your real life problems, but might offer a fleeting reprieve from them. Picture this: a Steins Gate rabbit hole so deep and convoluted that I've meticulously compiled a staggering 46 pages of entries and an iceberg
The blue
chart. Again,
chipping!
the chart spans from seemingly normal to downright schizo level expressions of love for Steins Gate. This anime, for many, falls into the love or hate it category. Yet, for those it resonates with, it truly strikes a chord. I believe it taps into our upbringings and various other intricate factors that I won't pretend to fully understand. But seriously, the emotion stirred in me while watching this anime for the first, second, and third time defy quick description. It's as if this anime has become a part of me. Steins Gate delves into my deepest, darkest thoughts that I kept hidden from everybody. While the show doesn't explicitly voice those thoughts, the way it's written, the character interactions, the animation style, the pervasive black and white grainy film, and the constant chirping of the cicadas all speak to me loudly. What could be a more fitting tribute to the intricacies, plot twists, and rabbit holes of Steins Gate than presenting them in a video essay using the format of an iceberg chart? We all know what an iceberg chart is, but join me as we go into the depths of Steins Gate, exploring the complex narrative. By the way, I will skip the bad entries that I find boring or weird. I do not care. All right, and just a disclaimer, I've actually never even heard their names in English, so I'm gonna pronounce these probably pretty bad, but that's fine. Fuck you. All right, so the first one is Shaman Girls, and all this is Alexis Leskinen is a professor and chief researcher of the Brain Institute at Victor Grandria University. He's the mentor of Maiho and Kurisu, one of the minds behind Project Amadeus and an agent of strategic focus. All this entry is a reference to all the memes surrounding Leskinen and his love and eventually disappointment in there being no Shaman Girls. All of us are aware of the IBM 5100 from the anime and it being based off the real life IBM, which was one of the first portable computers to ever exist. This is basic Steins Gate lore that we all know, but for those of you who don't and who have been living under a rock or who I forget everything syndrome and need a refresher, while Daru was able to hack into CERN's employee files himself over time, the IBM 5100 was needed for Okurin and him to read and delete the information stored in CERN's global monitoring system that scans all phone calls and texts in the world for key information related to important topics like time travel. Specifically, the first D-mail that Okurin accidentally sent, which CERN intercepted and turned their attention towards him in the first place. Both of them have the hidden function that they can only decipher IBM proprietary language, which was only revealed when John Titor, both in real life and in Steins Gate, told it to the world. Chuunibyou, or commonly referred to as 8th grader syndrome, is a Japanese colloquial term typically used to describe early teens who have grandiose delusions, who desperately want to stand out, and who have convinced themselves that they have hidden knowledge or secret powers. That describes Okurin perfectly, and it's common consensus that that is what he is. The origin of it being believed to have started when he wanted to help Mayuri. Common nicknames include, but are not limited to, Christina, Zombie, Assistant, Moneybags, Perverted Genius Girl, and Celeb 17. In the light novel, it's stated Okurin only calls her nicknames because he is too embarrassed to call her by her first name. And from this point forward, I'm calling her Christina because I'm having trouble saying her name. I've only ever seen it read in my brain. So it is Christina. Fuck you. The organization is the main focus of Okurin's delusions early on in the show. He is privy to top secret information that only he knows about, and he is able to decipher. The organization being the group that is against him for knowing such things. The organization quickly becomes CERN a couple episodes in, but it started with just regular Okurin delusions. Even though they're really good, the group hasn't quite figured out how to make time travel like humans do. In the beginning of the story, it hints that in the future, a group called CERN has control over making and using time machines. CERN, using the Echelon system, finds out about D-mails and learns that the Future Gadget Lab has a working time machine. Of course, they take action. Because of their involvement, the Future Gadget Lab members have to be careful not to upset CERN or they could be in big trouble, like getting caught or even killed. Whatever happens, the lab's future and the world itself are in danger if CERN keeps trying to make a time machine. Alright, so this one is just basically Leskinen calls Rintaro Lintalo because Japanese doesn't really have an R or an L. Its correct pronunciation is somewhere in the middle. I'll show the clip though. The normal 23rd episode of Steins Gate. Okarin tries multiple times to save Christina and eventually succeeds. The movie and the specials tie into this ending. The alternate. Okarin can't handle the thought of killing Christina and believes the same thing will happen again no matter how hard he tries. Similar to Mayuri. He gives up, and this ties in to the beginning of Steins Gate 0. Fuck you. It's debated by some whether it's L-Sai Kangaroo or L-Sai Kangaroo. Now those sound the same, but it's spelled different to these people. But it's the kangaroo with the K, and it's specifically that, and it matters for later on. And I'll explain that later on. But right now, kangaroo with a C is a translation error from Funimation and Crunchyroll because they failed to fact check properly. The email address on the D-mail has a K, and I'll explain that later, but it's a K. The people that translated the visual novel used kangaroo with a K, and Steiner uses it in all his fan translations, so it's accepted as the de facto correct one. Double fuck you. Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. This one is self-explanatory, so I will let it self-explain itself.
Holy cow! So I said we should come soon.
Holy cow! Alright, the movie Steins Gate Load Region of Déjà Vu is a 2013 Japanese animated science fiction film produced by White Fox. It is a follow-up to the 2011 anime television series Steins Gate. The film unfolds in August 2011, a year after the anime series Steins Gate, following Rintaro's efforts to navigate various world lines created by the use of the D-mail. I'd urge you to skip this and watch the movie yourself, but if you just want to sit back and enjoy this video, then watch this and then go watch the movie after the video. It's an alright movie that gives you more of your favorite characters. Here's a summary of the movie. So, Taro seemingly lands in the Steins Gate world line, where he successfully prevented the deaths of Mayuri and Christina and averted a dystopian future orchestrated by CERN. Rintaro starts experiencing intense side effects from time travel, witnessing visions of alternate world lines. On August 4th, he mysteriously disappears, and no one except Christina remembers his existence. Christina, urged by a mysterious visitor, it's Supa, learns that Rintaro's memories across world lines are overloading his reading Steiner, causing him to fluctuate between the current world line and the R world line, where neither Mayuri nor Christina die. To save Rintaro from vanishing, Christina travels back in time with Suzuha. After several attempts, she successfully implants the concept of Kyoin Homa into Rintaro's mind, June 30th, 2005, bringing him back to the Steins Gate world line, preserving the happy ending.
United States, close and invade.
Oh, I'm joke. I'm a smart citizen. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Hey, master. I am mad scientist. It's so cool. Son of a bitch. Hi. 何ですか? 日本語で OK か?
Alright, I will make a separate 40-minute video on this topic for my next video, so stay tuned. But the amount of in real life references in the visual novel and anime are so large in quantity that putting it in this video would be a disservice to the Steins Gate community. I love this anime, so I would never do that.
Do not forget what I just said, little bro. I will make a separate video on this topic. So if you are mad, there is no entry here. Wait for the video and shut the fwib up.
Alright, TLDR, a spin-off series sponsored by the actual company that made the real IBM portable computer. 4 episodes in total, around 3 minutes each. What a world we live in that this is real.
Rap break. Summa lumma dumma, you assuming I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman. Innovated and made of rubber so that anything you say is ricocheting off of me.
All right, this is the episode of Steins Gate, or at least one of them for me. This episode tugs at your heartstrings and leaves you feeling a mix of emotions for days. The focus is on Mayuri and Okarin, but mainly it's part that hits me so deeply is the Okarin and Christina interaction. But basically, Mayuri becomes worried about Okarin's well-being, wants to help him overcome his lingering trauma and guilt from the previous timelines. So she hatches a plan. She decides to take Okarin on a trip to celebrate the Christmas holiday, hoping that a change of scenery will lift his spirits. Through the Christmas celebration, there's a subtle but meaningful character development, especially in Okarin's healing process. But the main tearjerker of this episode is the long-awaited Christmas confession between Okarin and Christina. It's if you watched it, you know. I'm not even going to spoil it because if you haven't watched it, then I mean, this is the whole point of the anime. Like you're getting to this point in the anime, and it hits, and it's crazy. It's crazy because this wasn't even considered canon to some people, but this is the most canon there is. Fuck you. All right, Supa Hacka is a jargon from 2channel, a Japanese version of 4chan. It usually implies a wannabe hack pronounced like hack car in Japanese, and Hacka sounds stupid for Japanese people. So Daru corrects it to super hacker for this reference. Easy way to translate the joke to English speakers is the way they did it in the dub. Okarin refers to Daru constantly as a super hack, and Daru corrects him to super hacker. All right, there's a million super gadgets in the future gadget lab. I mean, I'm gonna go through all of them that I could find. I don't think there's any more. Definitely a lot here, so there better not be any more. But we're just gonna go through the numbers and we're gonna say every single one of them. So the first one is the bit particle gun. It's a toy gun modified to act as a TV remote. However, only the channel plus button works. And the name reference is to Mobile Jacket Gundam. The second one is the bamboo helicam. It's a camera attached to a bamboo toy helicopter. It's able to record aerial footage, but it doesn't have a stabilizer, so it constantly just spins around. The name reference is from 22 Emon. Third one is Could This Be Aura Aura? A lie detector based on the sweat on someone's thumb, though it's more of a sweat detector than anything else. And the name reference is from Juju's Delicate Adventure. Number 4, Mode Snake, an instant humidifier capable of generating insane amounts of steam in seconds. Name reference is Metal Moa Solid Rising. Number 5, Burger King Foot Lettuce. Number 5 is once again, I Made Something Worthless by Gomon, combination of a dryer and a vacuum. The name reference is Lupin's the Third. Number 6 is the Xylem Saber, an imitation of one of the lightsabers from the popular in-universe movie franchise Spark Wars. It can produce fake blood for added realism to the recreation of fights from the movies. Name reference, Spark Wars. Number 7, Ghost in the Ball, a combination of several CRT monitors in the form of a sphere, intended as optical camouflage, though its size makes it inconvenient to use. Number 8, the infamous Phone Wave, name subject to change, modified microwave with a mobile phone attached. It can be commanded to warm food from a distance, but through serendipity can also send messages to the past. What? Idiot. So stupid. Why do you make these stupid videos? Number 9, Homing Diva, a vinyl umbrella with a GPS attached, but the GPS is connected to the opening switch, and it can only be activated if the umbrella is open, which makes it just pointless. One of the characters, Luca, points out that considering the cost of the GPS, it'd probably just be cheaper to buy a new umbrella. Number 10, Sniper Specs, a pair of glasses that record their surroundings and then produce a holographic 3D image playback. Irie came up with the name. Number 11, One Scoop Prevails, a skateboard with an added propulsion system, mixing the methanol tables with the diet cola provided to mix with cola results in a strong burst of propulsion. Number 12, startling, you idiot. 2 wristbands that measure the wearer's vital. If it's determined that the pair are arguing or more than 1 meter apart, an electric shock will be administered to both. Holding hands prevent the electric shocks from activating. 13, does not have a name, but is a pair of headphones that converts a person's thoughts into data that they can be played back in the form of images. 14, electric signal jacker can hijack radio and satellite signals to send a message to all CRT TVs within a certain area. Number 15, docking mama. Bomb-type android built in a factory near Akihabara. Its features include, but are not limited to, communication and providing drinks. Name reference comes from Hookinger's Papas. The C-193 time machine, the prototype, is the first prototype of the time machine. FG C-193 is also the only one equipped with the Kerr black hole tracer, which Okabe uses to track down Mayuri and Suza. The 204 time machine is a functional time machine. There are 2 different machines created on different world lines by different people. First one is created by Daru, Future Gadget 204, second edition, version 2.31. As its name suggests, the 204th Future Gadget to be developed was created by Daru during the year 2036. This Future Gadget is a full-fledged time machine, albeit is still incomplete and as a result only capable of allowing the user to travel backwards in time, as opposed to the time machine developed by CERN, which enabled time travel in both directions. There's one exception to this, however. In the beta attractor field, the time machine is able to travel both forwards and backwards in time, but requires a large quantity of fuel in order to travel. The other one is the one created on the beta attractor field. It is completed to stop World War III and to enter the Steins Gate world line, aka Divergence 1.048596. Everyone survives, and neither CERN dystopia happens or World War III takes place. In the beta attractor field, Time Machine was developed by Rintaro, who gave it a different name, C204. As the future Rintaro explained to his past self, the C stands for Christina, a nickname he had given to Christina. All right, attractor fields, in simple terms, are easy to understand. Attractor fields in Steins Gate refer to specific timelines or paths in the universe that have a strong influence on events. These fields attract certain outcomes, making them more likely to happen. Changes made to the past can create different attractor fields, leading to alternate timelines with distinct consequences. Suzuha explains the world actually follows the world line and attractor fields theory, which works by giant attractor fields, alpha and beta, for instance, that contains an almost unlimited amount of world lines inside them. But those true attractor fields rule how the world is going to be. Like in the alpha world, where CERN will always rule the world. Kisses you. World lines convergence. All right. Imagine time as a big highway with different lanes, and each lane represents a possible timeline or version of events. All right. Now look down, and you'll quickly see that I just uppercutted your ass. Yeah, you didn't know I was like that. But with the highway analogy, a world line in Steins Gates is just a specific lane on that highway, showing how events unfold in a particular way. And then for convergence, think of convergence as a traffic rule on this highway. It's like a set of events that are bound to happen regardless of which lane you're on. No matter what choices or changes you make, certain key events will converge, come together in a similar way. In Steins Gate, characters are trying to understand and manipulate these world lines. Changing something in the past might switch to a different lane, but convergence ensures that some things remain constant across these different timelines. So the challenge is to navigate through the lanes to reach a desired outcome while dealing with the unavoidable events that converge across the timelines. In light of this, Mayuri dying in Alpha could be a convergence because the first time it happened, it led Okabe to fund Valkyrie, which led to the creation of a time machine and Suzuha traveling from 2036 to 2010. And this created a convergence. It has to happen. And the initial event is Mayuri dying, or at least Okabe thinking she died. But this is speculation and clearly not proven in any way.
March 24th, 2024, you will lose your life. March 24th, if you do not subscribe, you will lose your life. March 25th, if you do not subscribe, your parents will lose their lives. Like and comment on the video. This is not a threat, this is a warning. In court, you can use this against me on March 24th, 2024. You will die if you do not subscribe. In court, you can use this against me.
All right, Divergence. All right, picture the time highway again, with its different lanes representing various timelines. Divergence is like the degree of difference between these timelines. It measures how much one timeline diverges or separates from another. Steins Gate characters often talk about the divergence meter, a tool that quantifies how different the current timeline is from a reference point. So when you make changes to the past, you might increase or decrease the divergence, indicating how much things have shifted from the original course of events. It's a way to gauge the impact of actions on the unfolding story across different timelines. The Bootstrap Paradox. The Bootstrap Paradox is a concept in time, and it plays a significant role in Steins Gate. What? Let's break it down in simpler terms. Bootstrap Paradox. Imagine you have a time machine, and you use it to travel back in time. Now let's say you take a book with it and you write some rhymes. What? Shakespeare, in turn, publishes the book in his name. The paradox arises when you realize that the book has no clear origin. It's a loop with no apparent beginning. You got the book from the future. Shakespeare got the book from the past. The book, however, was never actually written by anyone. It just exists in this time loop. What? In Steins Gate, this paradox is explored and becomes a central theme. Characters find themselves in situations where information or objects are sent back in time, creating loops without a clear origin. It raises questions about causality and the idea of something existing without ever having been created, creating a narrative that changes traditional notions or cause and effect in time travel. The butterfly effect. Everybody knows what the butterfly effect is, but for those who don't, imagine you're in a meadow and you see a butterfly flapping its wings. Now, the tiny disturbance caused by the butterfly's wings can set off a chain of events. In Steins Gate, that's used a lot. The butterfly effect refers to how small changes in the past can lead to a significant consequence in the future. All right, Valkyrie. Valkyrie is an Akihabara-based all-female cosplay group in the Steins Gate universe. The group consists of members like Ferris, Mayushi, Ruka, who are all friends with the protagonist, obviously, and they are prominently featured in side stories and spin-offs related to Steins Gate, exploring different aspects of the characters' lives beyond the main narrative. 5 of the spin-offs for the Valkyrie, as mentioned above, are Steins Gate, Darling of Loving Vows is the first one, and this is a romantic comedy spinoff that explores alternative romantic scenarios involving the characters. It features different pairings, including scenarios with Valkyrie members. The next one, Steins Gate Linear Bounded Phenogram. This visual novel contains multiple side stories focusing on different characters. Valkyrie members are likely to be featured in some of these stories. Steins Gate, My Darling's Embrace, also known as Steins Gate. This is another romantic comedy spinoff set in an alternate timeline. It explores different relationships, and Valkyrie members play a role in this. Steins Gate, the movie, Load Region of Déjà Vu. While not a side story in the traditional sense, this movie extends the narrative of Steins Gate, and characters like Mayushi and Ferris play roles in the unfolding events. Last one is Steins Gate Missing Link, Divide by Zero. This is a visual novel that bridges the gap between the original Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero. It might contain scenarios or side stories involving Valkyrie members. All right, Radio Kaken. In Steins Gate, Radio Kaken is a building located in Akihabara, Tokyo. The term Radio Kaken translates to radio building in English. This building is significant in the Steins Gate universe because it houses the Future Gadget Laboratory, which serves as the main setting for the protagonist and his friends, obviously. Key points about Radio Kaken and Steins Gate: the Future Gadget Laboratory. That's where it's held. It's the meeting point for all the members. It is a real-life place in Tokyo, and it's like super famous. And there's a whole bunch of cultural references, like electronic shops, anime and manga stores, otaku culture, famous district, subcultures, technology, blah, blah, blah. All right, D-mail, in simple terms, refers to a special kind of email that has the power to change the past. D stands for DeLorean, Back to the Future reference, but here's how it works. Time traveling email. The characters in Steins Gate discover a way to send emails to the past using a microwave and a special device. They call these emails D-mails. When someone sends a D-mail, it can change events that happened before the email was sent. This creates a new timeline or world line with different outcomes. Changing the past with a D-mail can have both intended and unintended consequences. The butterfly effect. The characters use D-mails to try to improve their lives or prevent certain events from happening. Time leap machine. The time leap machine is in Steins Gate allows someone to leap or send their consciousness into the past for a short period but they can't interact with anything or change anything. It's just useful for understanding the past to plan for the future. Kerr black holes, named after physicist Roy Kerr. A Kerr black hole is a type of black hole described by the Kerr metric, a solution to the equations of Einstein's theory of general relativity. Kerr black holes are characterized by their rotation. Unlike non-rotating black holes, Kerr black holes rotate on their axis. They exhibit interesting phenomena, such as the existence of an ergosphere, a region outside the event horizon where objects cannot remain stationary. Kerr black holes are theoretical objects often studied in the context of astrophysics and general relativity. It's what the show uses as its base for the time travel theory. New confirmed Steins Gate game, said to be released sometime, who knows whenever they will, but it's released, but it is confirmed. Some info from Steiner's and KKB's Twitters. Shakura says this entry will be to Steins Gate what Chaos Child was to Chaos Head. Shakura brought this concept up at a personal stream quite some time back as a hypothetical title. At that time, he referred to it as Steins God. On this stream, he confirmed that this project is the same thing, but Steins God isn't the final title. Okabe, Daru, and Christina's voice actress confirmed to be in the new game. Drama CDs. Drama CDs, drama compact discs, in the context of Steins Gate, refer to audio CDs that contained dramatized audio content. These are essentially audio plays or dramas featuring the characters from the Steins Gate series. Drama CDs are a popular form of supplementary content in the anime and manga industry, allowing fans to experience new stories, character interactions, or scenarios beyond what is covered in the main series. Several drama CDs have been released for Steins Gate, offering fans additional content. If you're interested in these drama CDs, you may want to check online retailers, official websites, or non-official websites. Additionally, some fan subs or translation projects may make these drama CDs accessible to non-Japanese speaking audiences. Yes, they are canon. They are canon. Manga adaptation. Many don't know that both Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero got manga adaptations. Many only believe it has a visual novel and anime adaptations. All right, John Titor, the man himself. John Titor, whatever you want to call him. I like Titor, it sounds cooler. But in Steins Gate, we're going to start with Steins Gate first. I'll tell you why in a second. But in Steins Gate, John Titor is a character who claims to be a time traveler from the year 2036. He plays a significant role, obviously, serving as a catalyst for the protagonist and his friends to delve into the mysteries of time travel. Here are some key points about John Titor in Steins Gate. John Titor claims to be a time traveler from the future. He arrives in the year 2000 to obtain an IBM 5100 computer, stating that it is crucial for resolving a future problem related to computer systems. In the story, John Titor communicates through online forums, sharing information about time travel and his mission. His online posts attract attention of the main characters, particularly Okarin and Daru. Divergence. As the narrative unfolds, it becomes clear that the details provided by John Titor differ from the actual events experienced by the characters. This discrepancy is attributed to the concept of worldline divergence, as we covered earlier, and it's a key element in Steins Gate. The IBM 5100, John Titor's mission, and the intricacies of time travel become central to the overarching plot of Steins Gate. The characters' interactions with John Titor set in motion a series of events that lead to the exploration of multiple timelines, consequences of altering the past. The John Titor of the anime is based off a real-life person, though. John Titor is a name associated with an online forum thread and series of posts that appeared in early 2000s, but here are some of the key points about the real John Titor. The John Titor posts appeared on the Time Travel Institute forums in the year 2000. The user claimed to be a soldier from the future, sent back to the year 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 computer for reasons related to fixing a computer-related problem in the future. Titor made various predictions about future events, including a series of chaotic events leading to a breakdown of society. However, these predictions were often vague and did not come to fruition. The John Titor posts abruptly stopped in 2001, and the user claimed to be returning to his time. The identity of John Titor remains unknown, and there is no concrete evidence supporting the claims made in the post. Cap. The story of John Titor gained a significant following and influenced popular culture, which one of those popular cultures is Steins Gate. The John Titor from real life and the John Titor from Steins Gate are very, very similar. Steins Gate Zero Elite. Steins Gate Zero Elite is an upcoming visual novel video game in the sci-fi adventure series that is currently being developed by Mages and was formally announced on January 26, 2020 for Japanese audiences. It's not currently known when the game is expected to release, nor what platforms it will be released on. It is expected that Steins Gate Zero will, in the vein of its predecessor Steins Gate Elite, utilize the Steins Gate Zero visuals novel written story in tandem with the Steins Gate Zero anime adaptations visuals to present a fully animated version of the visual novel. The Skydance Television studio is adapting the visual novel of Steins Gate. The series was initially announced on January 26, 2020 by Shiyumaru Shakura on his Twitter, as well as by the Sci-Fi Adventure series on its official Twitter announcement. I don't know when that's going to come out, but when it does, it's going to be epic sauce. The X68000, another real-life computer, but instead of portable, this one is the home computer you usually see Daru on. There are multiple different endings in the Steins Gate visual novel, so it's going to have way too many differences for the scope of this video. But a few I want to mention, a couple scenes I remember outside of all the alternative endings, is that the first time he time leaps, he doesn't understand the sensation and basically thinks he just imagined it. So Ayushi dies again without him doing anything to prevent it. Another one is undoing Ferris's D-mail takes longer because she pushed Okarin to help her beat some cheaters at the board game she plays. Ron doesn't kill Muaka, Nae does by stabbing her, having time leapt from a future where she grew up in CERN just because she wanted the satisfaction of revenge for her father, and telling current Okarin that she's the one who tortures him into catatonia in the future. This one's creepy. The anime decided to leave it out, but it is canon. After Mr. Braun sacrificed himself to protect Mocha and Nae fled through the window of another room. In response, Okarin had to time leap once again to unravel the unfolding events. Urgently, he called Christina, seeking her to help to prevent Nae from harming Muaka. However, Nae, having committed the act, mocked Okarin, revealing that she had tortured and killed him in the year 2025. He then time leaped back to 2010 to exact revenge on Mocha for her father's death. Coldly, Nae informed Okarin that she would patiently wait to kill him once more, leaving him to live in fear until that fateful moment. Real life locations. So I'm going to save all the in real life references in Steins Gate for another 40-minute video, but this one just hits deep for me. I believe that a lot of the reason Steins Gate hits so close to me is because it feels so real, and that's because it is. A lot of the pictures are based directly in real life places, just with a gloomy, grainy, artistic interpretation.
Banana! Banana!
The ending for Suzuha in the visual novel is known for being very rough. It's the first place Okarin can decide not to sacrifice his friend's happiness to save Mayushi, is when he needs to stop himself from stopping Suzuha from traveling back before the storm damages the time machine. It just breaks his heart to destroy her memories of hanging out with friends, the going away party, and meeting her father. So he puts it off by time leaping instead of sending the D-mail. He relives that day over and over and over and over and over and over again until the boredom sets in, until the madness sets in, and he begins to contemplate what he could do in an existence with no consequences. He becomes insane and has a mental breakdown. Suzuha eventually notices this and saves him from itself. And in Elite, we get to see Okarin physically deteriorate along with his mental condition. When Suzuha offered Okarin to come with her on her journey back to 1975, it was an emotional moment, since the music in the inner monologue phrasing his emotions started again like a machine. Another nice addition of Elite was a scene of seeing Mayushi, Daru, and Christina react to Okarin's letter. And finally, the one thing I love about this ending is the endless possibilities of what could happen. They are choosing an option that leads into the unknown, and I wish the writers would expand on this ending a little more, or even show a little sneak peek into how they look, like a photo after the credits or something. Time leap to future. This is an explanation into time leaping into the future from the visual novel. Mayushi asks about leaping into the future, and Okarin tells her, while it's possible, there isn't really a reason to do it as decided by him and Christina. Leaping into the future would arrive with the memories of the past. So if you leaped a week into the future, you would lose a week of memories. Also, depending on how far you go into the future, could complicate things. They don't know what specifically causes the time leap in the first place from the phone wave, name subject to change. So leaping too far into the future that they don't know if there's phones in that future could have potential disasters. Also, you probably wouldn't even be able to do it in the first place because you need to know the number of the target you. And let's say you try to leap into the future so far that we're not using phones anymore, then it's not going to work. Steins Place is just a reference to an April Fool's event during 2022 on r/place. The sci-fi adventure community decided to join in on the fun and take over the plot of pixels on the page with pixel art of Okarin, Christina, Mayushi, and the Divergence meter. Okay, @ channel in real life, the @ channel is just a reference to 2 channel, which is basically just 4 channel, which is 4chan, but for Japanese people. Under his online pseudonym, Gyoen Homa, Okurin actively participates in discussions on that channel. This online forum serves as a platform for Okurin to share his eccentric theories and engage with the online community. Christina, while very apprehensive of the subject, also gets caught using 2chan from Okurin in the lab. Since she usually has a serious genius scientist aura that she likes to display to the public, it was embarrassing for her in her eyes to get caught on 2chan. Code Geass inspiration. Besides his pick from the visual novel, senior writer of linear bounded Phenogram, Kotaro Uchikochi, has stated that the Lelouch from Code Geass inspired Okabe's character, citing his wannabe bad guy persona. Alright, Nendroid Generation. Mayushi guest stars as a playable character in the 2012 Nendroid Generation game. Hashida Suzu. When Suzu goes back to the past, she has amnesia. For some reason, takes on the name Hashida Suzu, in which she helps Dr. Nakabachi and Ferris's father. A lot of people on Reddit have a lot of theories surrounding this. One of them is that since Suzuha's life from 1975 to 2000 isn't really explored, maybe she pieced the evidence together and found out that Daru is her father during that period. Or maybe she changed her name for a completely different reason. She might have tried to forge herself a new identity and subconsciously picked that name up, having some slight remembrance of the other Worldlines. And of course, I'm sure someone must have already come up with a theory in which Suzuha becomes friends, relatives with Daru's family. You can take that as far as you want. Yoshiro Nakamatsu. Dr. Nakabachi is inspired by a Japanese inventor and engineer called Yoshiro Nakamatsu, commonly called Dr. Nakamatsu. He has 3,572 patents. My Darling's Embrace. This is a spin-off visual novel following Okurin in a rom-com with all the different cast members who he has been shipped with. It's not canon, just more to give the Steins Gate fans what they want to see. A lot of these people want to see this in different timelines and alternative realities. Something like this could happen, but it's not the official storyline, so it's not canon. It all begins with Okurin finding himself in a new timeline shortly after discovering the capabilities of the phone microwave. Unlike the main Okurin, he decides to send numerous emails just to see what might happen, and somehow he ends up in this situation. After a brief introduction, you're taken to a different timeline in each story path, depending on the email you send at the time of the introduction. In each story, you become closer to one of the lab girls, or Luca, who has his own story, but is a guy. Romance is always present, but it's more emphasized in some story paths than in others. Linear Bounded Phenogram is a side story or spin-off of Steins Gate visual novel series. It explores alternate timelines or world lines where different events unfold. It's like exploring what could have happened if certain choices were made or events occurred differently in the Steins Gate universe. Each storyline focuses on different characters and their experiences in these alternative scenarios, providing a unique perspective outside of the main storyline. Example of those alternate storylines are things like Ferris's Nine's adventure. Ferris plays a central role, involves her attempts to save Mayushi from a tragic fate, focuses on the dynamics of the Akahabio neighborhood. Another one is Mayushi's farewell romance, centered around Mayushi, explores a romantic narrative involving Mayushi, diverges from the main plot to create a unique story for Mayushi. Another one is the orbital eclipse, revolves around Suzuha Amane and her struggles, delves into the consequences of time travel, takes a different path from the original story with Suzuha as the main character. And the last one I'm going to say is the twin automata, however you say it, doesn't matter, features the characters of Mocha and Luca, and it explores their stories and experiences in alternative scenarios, provides insights into the perspectives of these characters.